All right, so well, in the last session we learned service REST, right? Where we created a service and we actually configured activities to create case from that service, and we mapped the data that was coming from the service request, right? Today we are going to do the same thing, same stuff, but using a connector. Oh, sorry, but using a SOAP service, right? Yesterday we used the REST service. So in the SOAP service, again, structure is similar, right? You need to have a service package. SOAP is based on the XML. So you need to have under the service package, you will have your service rule created. The service rule need to have request. Request is XML. The request will come into XML format. So you need to parse that to the clipboard. So XML parse rule. Then your activity will run and do the stuff for us. And then you need a response. You need to send the response back to the caller, right? So this is basically XML stream rule. Whenever we are doing outbound mapping, so basically from the clipboard to the XML, it's a stream. When you are doing from XML to the clipboard, it's um, it's a parse rule. Okay, XML parse rule. All right, with this background, let's get going. So again, we are going to create the same case for the same purpose. Okay. Uh, Now we need to create a different service, right? We created one integration service that was for, sorry, I'm in the wrong application. Give it a minute. Right. So yesterday we created an integration service basically, and that was for REST. Let's create a SOAP service today. So create integration service SOAP. The label is create CC application. Package, we created a package yesterday. We will just use that. Customer class, just put cust there. That's it. Create and open. All right. So remember, you guys probably remember that when we were creating the REST service, primary used to be the request that's coming up, right? Now in the SOAP, my service page will act as your primary page. That's where the requests are going to be transformed and put into on the clipboard. And the class of this is going to be CC application. Do you want to run any data transform in advance? You can run that. This is where we will call the service activity. We already have the create CC application. The only thing is that we need to replace the primary with my service page. So let's make that change. First, we need to define the my service page. Property set. because it is named property, right? That's where the content is going to be from the request. Good. Save it. So I'm reusing that activity that we created for the rest, because internally Pega processing is going to be same, right? Then the request header, don't worry about that. But the request is going to come as XML literal, right? And we will call it CC request. And it will be mapped to clipboard using parse rule. Sorry, this should have XML parse. It's not showing. Or is it parse XML? 1 minute. XML parse rule. This is what we need to put it here. Delete it. Not needed. No request. Okay. Now we need to create an XML parse rule. The root is going to be CC request. Okay. There is nothing at the moment, so we will say CC request parse. Create. Root element is CC request. See, this is the root. Now, what are the information that we need to get, right? Um, that needs to be added one by one. So we need to get add, sorry, not attribute. Let's delete it. Click on the CC request and add element. The first element you need to add is, click on this new. The element is property is going to be, is it a new customer or old customer? And that's what the node name will be as well. So new customer or old, add one more element, and that is for customer ID, CID. That's going to be mapped with cust ID. Then add one more element, and this is where we are going to get the customer's first name, last name, and all those stuff. Okay, so you should ideally have a page created here. Okay, it's a page, customer page, and it's customer data. It's XML, right? So we will format it that way, submit it. So it's going to act as a page. Under this page, add element, and that is going to be first name. You need to provide that node label as well, first name. Then under this, one more, last name. Then under customer, one more, email. Then PAN card. That should be enough right now. You should actually, when you create, add every record. Okay. All right, let's save it. Now this is generated. I have an XML parse rule. The request should come in this structure, CC request. Under that XML tag, there should be new cast, CCID, and then customer. The customer should have subtags for these property. That's how the request should come to us. Let's select this again, CC parse request. Okay, this is my request. Sorry, response. In the response, request is done. In the response, we will again have to convert it back to XML, and in this we will do map from clipboard. We can directly map from clipboard, but ideally we should have, so let me, XML stream is the option. XML stream. Now that XML stream, you need to put it, basically when you create it, it is going to read the clipboard and send it back to the requester. So on the clipboard we need to have a property actually. Okay, so what I'm going to create is, I'm going to create, it's not like JSON where we can directly leverage the page. So I'm going to create a property. Hmm, you know what, let me try to map from py note and everything, because here property set. Okay, so the response, let's keep it like this, py note and pyd primary. Okay, so we can leverage these two to send that. All right, so come back here. So we will create a parse rule, sorry, stream rule to send it back. So cc app response, and cc response is going to be the root name. XML type map from. This is the XML type. Okay, you need to be careful about this. This is map from CC, and here we are going to add element. One is the PYID, PYID, that we will say case ID, and the other one is PY name, PY note, which is we will say message. This is stream rule, XML stream rule. Now let's come back here and select this again. Good. Now save it. So what is saying? Key should specify how this should be mapped. Should have a namespace. I think it has a namespace, doesn't it? Root. No, sorry. This is the name. Okay. Now my service is ready for me to test. Let's test it once from the backend. All right. So supply the SOAP URL. So that way you will get a sample request, right? Let's investigate this. So, or maybe I'll put it, okay, that's fine. Let me just put there. So this is the sample request, okay? So envelope, you need to provide CID. Under the customer, you need to provide these information. The moment it is all blank, let's see. So I'm gonna say new customer. Actually, control V. Let's remove this. Let's remove this. This is how we close it, and it's no. Then CID C001. That's it. Let me copy this one. Let's try and execute this. Okay, it failed during the mapping. Good. Failure is always a good thing. So CC response parse request parse actually CC request. So let me try with individual value. No, this is, let me just cross check it. So this is my request. Request header is okay. Request parameter is coming from CC request, and this is the parse rule. Under the parse rule, we have request and customer. Customer is within this C001. That is okay. Under the customer, we have first name, we have last name, we have this, we have that. Okay. Customer is closing here. This response CC request is closing here. Body is closing. Everything is okay here. So let's just trace it once and see why it is failing. Didn't get anything. Nothing. 1 second. Before that, actually, let me just open the service package and see if we modified something there. This is fine. Data mapping failed. Hmm. Let's see. How come it is not tracing the SOAP request and SOAP response? SOAP message is there, bar system view. That means it's not getting that message. Okay, fine. Why it's not coming up here? Okay, I'll come back to this anyway. So we will fix it shortly. Just one thing. So guys, you remember when we created the connector, we needed an XST, right? What we call it? We called it WSDL, right? So any system that want to consume this service, they will have to consume this WSDL in order to get the definition of our service. So let's consume this WSDL. Request this. Okay, now this is fine. Let's just provide this here and then test it. Newcast, no. CID C00001. Okay, now I'm going to trace it from there. Simulation might have problem not running from here. Trace it. Okay, it's working. That simulation probably had some issue. All right, good. Pause it. So response, see, we got proper response, exactly how we wanted. We want the case ID and we got that message that the case has successfully been created, right? So we passed this information and this case has been successfully created in the application. All right, so this work item is created with all the details for the customer one. Okay, and it is on the get approval. Similarly, if I say yes, then this doesn't really matter. I'll have to provide something here. And then here we need to provide, okay, let's execute this. Good. This created us another application. Okay. All right. So this is how we uh, create cases using SOAP, or pretty much you can do everything. You can get information. You can pass customer ID on the activity. Based on that customer ID, fetch the record from the table and return that back to the caller. So based on the customer ID, you can send customer information. Whatever you can imagine, you can pretty much send that or do that using the service. Okay, whatever is possible at Pega. So, well, in this session, we learned about SOAP service, SOAP pack service package we already knew, but we created a new service with XML parse, XML stream. We reuse the activity that we used for the REST one, okay, with a little modification. And that's where this session concludes.